Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I am so delighted you have found me. First thing I would like to say is I have some new subscribers, and thank you very, very much. I really appreciate the support, and I hope that you continue to like and enjoy what you see, and certainly please feel free to like the videos, comment, maybe tell a friend or two to subscribe. Either way, I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative of the support that I have. So, I have a question. There's a lot of chatter about, the GOP strategy and the Democratic strategy and what they should be doing and, what. So, I thought that we would just maybe take some time and do a quick look at, the GOP and see what their sort of strategy is, see what the next, I don't know, a little while, 6 months or so looks like in terms of strength, in terms of losing strength. And then we'll do a reading for the Democrats, sort of covering the same areas. So I'm going to give the cards a quick shuffle and see where it takes us. So right now we're going to focus on the GOP, and let's kind of see what the coming months look like for them. Just an overall peek into their energies, the strategies, and what what's likely to evolve over the next little while. Okay, let's bring this down, and I'm going to cut the cards. GOP. Well, interesting start. Got the Devil. We've got the Two of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles. Okay, let's just start with these for right now. So, overarching this reading and these cards is the Devil. So, a couple of things. One, the party itself, the GOP party, is really bedeviled by Trump. I mean, he has just taken over. They have completely bowed down to their king and ruler, and so they're not in a good place going forward. The Devil, though, is also really good at kind of deluding you a little bit. When you're under the Devil's spell, you kind of lose track a little bit about what is and is not real and accurate. So there seems to be a lot of, on the one hand, they're very tied to what he does and says. They feel that he can, make or break their political career. So they're, and that seems to be their importance, apparently not saving, their country or their constitution, not doing what their constituents would like. However, so this is an interesting overarching, card, because it says a lot about where they are, what position they're in, and kind of how they feel trapped. They're sort of like, we can't confront him, and we can't win without him. So, probably the saddest situation with the GOP is that they completely fumbled the lesson or the opportunity to contain a bully. I mean, that's really, when it comes right down to it, all Trump is. He's just a big old bully. And instead of setting an example about how a bully should be treated, the GOP did the exact opposite, and in fact have done a brilliant display of how to empower a bully, how to do the very things that make bullies more powerful. That's what they've done. Congratulations, guys. Good job. Okay, So a couple of things here. They've got the Two of Pentacles. So this is a balancing act. They're trying to figure out the really important things where they should not, cross Trump. And then the really, really important things where they have to take an absolute stand. Like, for example, the Mexican tariff situation just in the last few days. So it's for them, it's just perpetual balance. They can't seem to find a stable ground. It's always like this, and it's always like that, of course, because you've got the king of chaos running the country there. So, and certainly running their party. A little bit more going forward. I mean, there seems to be two things that they're actually concerned with, although interestingly, the two things are actually part A and part B of the same thing. So one is there is a lot of concern, and not only with Trump, but with GOP people, about overseas dark money, about, jobs, contracts, agreements that were put in place across the water, okay? And that could be Russia, that could be China, that could be, any number of places. But contracts that were put against, created across the waters and dirty money. So there is a lot of concern about some of the GOP's sort of dirty little secrets becoming exposed. So let's see if we can get a bit more handle on kind of their strategy going forward. Okay, so they are going to continue to take that attitude of make America great again. She wasn't all that great when they're, in the era that they're trying to go back to. But that's the story they're selling, and they're going to stick with that when they seem to feel that it's working. It certainly is working with a certain segment of their base, who really feel that they've been sort of left along the side of the road. So they're going to continue that, we're going to take it back to the way it was. Well, unfortunately, coal isn't going to come back the way it was. And, manufacturing jobs are not going to be the same manufacturing jobs that were available 25 or 30 years ago. But they're going to keep singing that tune. And frankly, there are going to be some people who are going to believe that tune. Their priority is about keeping the wealthy wealthy. They will continue to do what their donors want them to do. They will continue to do what that 1% of 1% wants them to do. They're not going to be... They've sort of proven by this point that they are incredibly malleable, that the things that everybody thought that they stood for really don't matter a tinker's damn to them. Just, what's the budget again? What should your deficit running at? But apparently they don't care about that for some reason with this president during this election cycle. So they're going to be still really intent on, taking things back the way they were, keeping their donors and the rich happy. And it's a fool's errand. It's not, it's almost as if the things that the strategies they have in place, some of them are going to work, but they're not going to work all that well. It's like they're almost like tripping up their own feet. The success that they're wanting would require far more balance than they're capable of having at this point. They have lost all credibility when it comes to, we're for everyone and, really our hearts are with the working class. They've completely lost that credibility. So where they think they're going to make gains, I don't suspect they're going to. And ultimately, they're going to face some really, really harsh judgment. So going forward for the next little while, I mean, it's not one failure after another, but it is very definitely a situation where you have, it's just going to be harder for them to, harder for them to pick a strategy and stay on it, in part because, again, you can't do that with Trump because he has the attention span of, a gnat. I don't know, he doesn't have one. And so, they tell him ABC and he says, yeah, and then he goes out and does, XYZ. So you're going to see a lot of them sort of floundering around a little bit in terms of how things unfold in the next little while. Some of the really hard stances they've taken, they're going to have to back down on, like not giving documents, etc., that kind of stuff. And some stuff they're just not going to be able to get a good grip on because he keeps changing, the playing field. Okay, let's move on to the Democrats. I would like to see what the next 6 months or so hold for the Democrats and the Democratic Party, what their biggest concerns or worries are, and what some of the maybe advantages they have are. So we're going to give these a couple more quick shuffles, and then we will bring it down and see what the cards would like to say about the Democrats, over the next 6 months or so. Kind of what's their strategy? What are they thinking? Let's take a good look at that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Democrats next 6 months. Democrats next 6 months. They have a lot more tricks up their sleeves than people are giving them kind of credit for. And here is my Queen of Swords, which very, very often represents Nancy Pelosi. It's my card for her. And the Moon, King of Cups. Okay, so we'll start here. So we have the Magician as their overarching card, which is telling me that they have the skills, the talents, and the ability to accomplish what they want. And they're shifting from sort of being, fair and above board and everything, playing by the rules that have long been established. And what they've done is they've come up with somebody who said, just because something's established, it doesn't mean it's law, and it doesn't mean I have to follow it. And they've been scrambling. But what they're coming to now is they're coming to a place where there seems to be, there's more strategy going on than you realize that's going on. And interestingly, the Queen of Swords is my card for Nancy Pelosi, and the King of Cups is my card for that little snake, what's his name? Mitch McConnell. So, interesting that they both showed up here, and what separates them is illusions, lies, secrets, and hidden depths. Things going deeper than it looks like on the surface. Things are far more emotional and far more volatile, I think, maybe, in the Democratic Party than we see. And certainly there is a lot of concern and a lot of strategy, and will be over the next 6 months, about McConnell. How will he react? What will he do? What does he have the power to do? What, where is he going to pull those punches? And she is, Nancy Pelosi, and in fact, the Democrats don't seem to be, they're not falling for the tricks. They're sort of pulling back a little bit on this play nicey, and they're starting to get a little bit more firm and a little bit more aggressive. And that is as it should be, because as way more people than me have said, you can't, you can't take a Boy Scout, to a knife fight, right? I mean, it's two completely different attitudes. So, okay. So, this represents what's kind of going on right now in terms of, okay, the Four of Cups and the Page of Swords are telling their own little story. And what they're saying is there is a little bit of disappointment that there is not, the rallying cry for impeachment has not been louder. There has been sort of a delayed success with this. Anybody who doesn't think that Nancy Pelosi is not just watching those numbers and waiting for more and more of the public to really push for those impeachment hearings to begin, she's just waiting for the numbers. And honestly, the numbers are slower coming around than they actually thought they were. And so right now they're overall a little bit disappointment that the public has not sort of created more of an alarm. So it's delayed. It's just going to take a little longer than people, I guess, had hoped it would. I think people, were really hoping that this would just move very, very quickly, and it's not. But there's something to be said for slow and methodical. And that's, whether they wanted to or not, that's sort of where they've been forced to go, because there is not the public outcry yet that that she was looking for to just say, I have no choice, we're going to do this, it's the right thing to do for the country. She'll get there. Don't mark my words, she will get there. But right now, kind of in the next little short while, it looks like those numbers are going to creep up as opposed to shoot up. So there's just a little bit of delay in them being able to move forward in a really productive way that frankly is going to cripple Trump. Okay, it's just as simple as that. But make no mistake, you have truths coming out, and those truths are going to be difficult, and they're going to be hard for the GOP to spin. In that way, the Democrats, it may not feel like it right now that they actually have the advantage and truth is on their side, but as things evolve a little more, you will absolutely see that happening. Now, interestingly, so we have the Devil here and we have the Ten of Cups. What is bedeviling them? What is creating this push and pull within the party? Sort of that being tied to one goal, but trying to achieve it in different avenues, in different ways. So you have the portion of the party that they're in very blue districts, they're very safe, and or they're, they got voted in based on. So it's an interesting thing that's happening. You have the people who are in safe blue, who are, they want impeachment, they want it yesterday, hip hop, what is the delay? You have the other group who are in, red states or purple states, and they need to be more cautious. They need to be more mindful of what their constituents are saying. And that's where you get this sort of 50 or 60 members of the Democratic Party are like rush ahead for impeachment, but that leaves a lot more that are not at this time. And the two things going on here. There's one, that the public outcry has not been strong enough to really push it forward. And two, there is that sense that, we're going to get there anyways, so let's just walk a little bit more slowly and not rush into something that could end up backfiring on us. But ultimately, the Democrats appear to be assured of success and things falling into place, things coming together. And because this card is often reflective of the family, but I'm reading it in a political sense, what I would say about the Ten of Cups is sort of an indicator that the pieces will come together, kind of like the way members of a family come together to create a greater or more solid center. The same thing's going to happen within the Democratic Party. It would appear that the fractions are going to start all moving towards center and come to a place where they can agree on their forward motion. But they're actually in good shape. There's a lot of concern about, if people are going to get really angry with the Democrats if they don't move on this impeachment. Yeah, but a lot of that is not really anger as much or turning away, as much as it is just a expression of frustration. I think that when we're living our normal lives and Trump isn't in office, we tend to sort of pay attention to politics over here. It's on the peripheral, right? We're not focused on it, kind of certainly the way people have been focused on it for the last, 2 years or however long this nightmare has been going on. But it's over here. And what has happened in the last couple of years is, as more and more people are paying attention to what's going on, there's a real awareness of the fact that, my God, this stuff drags on. It takes a really long time. It really does move slowly. And that's where you get people who are just sort of frustrated and they just want big dramatic steps to get this thing going forward. But in this case, it really is the tortoise versus the hare who is going to win this race, at least in the next short while. Okay, there really is that need for still to get their ducks in line, get everything in place. And as public momentum builds, they will be ready to shoot ahead. And I suspect that's exactly what's going to happen. So, thank you so very, very much for finding me, for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed this reading about the GOP versus the Democrats. Thank you for your support. I'm very grateful and I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye-bye.